The world mourns the passing of a truly remarkable leader, Pope Francis. His unwavering commitment to peace, humility, and compassion touched countless lives, transcending faiths and borders. In this tribute, we remember Pope Francis, his final moments, and the extraordinary life he led. From the quiet dignity of his final hours to his profound impact on the world stage, we'll retrace the steps of a man who dedicated his life to serving others. Join us as we celebrate his legacy, a legacy defined by his unwavering faith, his profound empathy, and his tireless pursuit of a more just and compassionate world. The Gemelli Hospital in Rome, a place familiar to Pope Francis, became his final sanctuary. The bustle of the hospital hallways faded as you approached his room, a hush falling over the medical staff and visitors alike. Inside, the room was bathed in soft light, the only sound the gentle hum of medical equipment. It was a stark contrast to the grandeur of the Vatican, yet it felt strangely fitting for a man who embraced simplicity. His close aides and medical team kept vigil, their faces etched with a mixture of sorrow and reverence. The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, a palpable sense of history unfolding. Outside the hospital walls, millions around the world joined in prayer, their thoughts and well-wishes converging on this humble room. From the grand cathedrals to remote villages, candles flickered in silent tribute. The world held its breath, united in grief and gratitude for the life of a man who had touched so many. Though his physical presence was fading, his spirit, his message of love and hope, seemed to grow stronger. It was a testament to the power of a life lived in service to others, a life that continued to inspire even in its final hours. In those final days, a team of skilled and compassionate medical professionals surrounded Pope Francis, providing not just medical care but unwavering support. They understood they were caring not just for a patient, but for a global icon, a spiritual leader to billions. They moved with quiet efficiency, their voices hushed, their touch gentle. Their expertise was evident, but so too was their deep respect for the man in their care. They saw beyond the papal robes, recognizing the frail humanity beneath. There was a quiet heroism in their dedication, a commitment to preserving his dignity even as his body failed him. They tended to his every need, ensuring his comfort, easing his pain. Doctors consulted in hushed tones, their faces reflecting the gravity of the situation. Nurses provided round-the-clock care, their compassion evident in every gesture. They understood they were witnessing the final chapter of an extraordinary life, and they carried out their duties with a profound sense of honor and responsibility. These were not just caregivers, they were guardians, entrusted with the well-being of a man who had dedicated his life to the well-being of others. As Pope Francis's condition deteriorated, a palpable sense of sorrow descended upon those gathered at the Gemelli Hospital. Yet amidst the sadness, there was also a deep and abiding faith, a sense of peace that transcended the pain. In a small chapel within the hospital walls, candles flickered, casting dancing shadows on the faces of those who came to pray. Close friends and confidants sought solace in their shared faith, finding strength in their collective grief. Whispered prayers filled the air, some seeking divine intervention, others simply expressing gratitude for his life and legacy. There was a shared belief that even in death, Pope Francis was not alone, that his spirit was embraced by a love that knows no bounds. The power of prayer, a cornerstone of Pope Francis's own beliefs, became a source of comfort and unity. It transcended denominations and faiths, connecting people around the world in a shared tapestry of hope and remembrance. Even in the face of profound loss, there was a sense that his message of love, compassion, and understanding would endure. His legacy, woven into the fabric of countless lives, would continue to inspire long after he was gone. This shared faith, this unwavering belief in the power of love and forgiveness, served as a testament to the profound impact Pope Francis had on the world. Long before the world knew him as Pope Francis, he was Jorge Mario Bergoglio, a young boy growing up in the vibrant, bustling city of Buenos Aires, Argentina. His childhood home, a modest apartment in the Flores neighborhood, was filled with the warmth of family, faith, and the aroma of his mother's cooking. Life was simple, centered around family meals, neighborhood games, and the strong moral compass instilled by his parents. Even as a young man, Jorge possessed a quiet charisma, a genuine concern for others that just drew people to him. He was known for his humility, his willingness to lend a helping hand and to listen without judgment. His path to the priesthood was not a straight line. He worked as a chemist, a nightclub bouncer, even a janitor, experiencing the realities of everyday life before heeding the call to serve a higher purpose. These early experiences, far removed from the grandeur of the Vatican, really shaped his worldview, fueling his empathy for the poor, the marginalized, the forgotten. It was in the slums of Buenos Aires, amidst the struggles of ordinary people, that the seeds of his papacy were sown, a papacy defined by humility, compassion, and a deep connection to the human experience. The election of Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio as Pope Francis in 2013 sent shockwaves through the Catholic Church and the world. He was the first pope from the Americas, the first Jesuit pope, a man who chose the name Francis in honor of Saint Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of the poor and animals. From the moment he stepped onto the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square, it was clear that this was a different kind of pope. Gone were the opulent trappings of the papacy. Pope Francis embraced simplicity, choosing to live in a modest Vatican guest house, often seen wearing simple white vestments. He shook up the Vatican bureaucracy, challenging the status quo and advocating for the poor and marginalized. He reached out to other faiths, promoting interfaith dialogue and understanding. His papacy was marked by a series of firsts. He was the first pope to wash the feet of women and Muslim prisoners on Holy Thursday, the first to openly advocate for the LGBTQ community, stating, "Who am I to judge?" He tackled controversial issues head-on, addressing climate change in his encyclical Laudato Si', calling for action on global warming and environmental protection. He criticized unbridled capitalism, advocating for economic justice and a more equitable distribution of wealth. Pope Francis's papacy was a breath of fresh air, a call for the Church to return to its roots, to embrace humility, compassion, and service to others. Throughout his papacy, Pope Francis tirelessly advocated for the poor, the marginalized, and the forgotten, reminding the world that true power lies in uplifting the vulnerable. He saw the face of Christ in the suffering, the outcast, the refugee. His compassion knew no bounds. He visited prisons, embracing inmates with open arms, offering words of forgiveness and hope. He traveled to refugee camps, sharing meals with those who had lost everything, reminding the world of our shared humanity. He spoke out against economic inequality, challenging the gap between the rich and the poor. He called for an end to human trafficking, condemning the exploitation of the vulnerable. Pope Francis's message resonated far beyond the walls of the Vatican. He inspired countless individuals to acts of charity and compassion, reminding us that even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect. He challenged world leaders to prioritize the needs of the poor, to enact policies that promote social justice and economic equality. He reminded us that we have a moral obligation to care for our planet, our common home. In a world often driven by greed and indifference, Pope Francis's voice was a beacon of hope, a reminder that every human life has inherent dignity and worth. Pope Francis understood that true peace went beyond the absence of conflict. It required building bridges of understanding, fostering dialogue, and actively pursuing reconciliation. He became a global ambassador for peace, traveling to conflict zones, meeting with world leaders, and urging dialogue and diplomacy. One of the most iconic images of his papacy was his historic meeting with Patriarch Kirill, the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church, in 2016. The first meeting between the heads of the two churches in over a millennium. It was a powerful symbol of unity and a testament to the Pope's commitment to interfaith dialogue. He traveled to the Middle East, visiting holy sites, meeting with religious leaders, and calling for peace and reconciliation in the region. He visited countries torn apart by war and violence, offering words of comfort and hope to those who had lost everything. Pope Francis understood that true peace required addressing the root causes of conflict, poverty, inequality, and injustice. He called for a more just and equitable world, a world where differences are respected and dialogue is prioritized over violence. His efforts extended beyond the realm of geopolitics. He urged individuals to embrace forgiveness, to break down walls of prejudice and hatred, and to see the humanity in those who are different from us. Pope Francis's unwavering belief in the power of dialogue, diplomacy, and forgiveness left an indelible mark on the world, inspiring countless individuals and world leaders to embrace a path of peace. As news of Pope Francis's passing spread, tributes poured in from all corners of the globe. World leaders, religious figures, and everyday people whose lives he had touched shared their memories, reflecting on the profound impact he had on their lives. From the slums of Buenos Aires, where he dedicated his life to serving the poor, to the halls of the Vatican, where he challenged the status quo, stories of his humility, compassion, and unwavering faith resonated. Those who knew him best spoke of his infectious laugh, his genuine warmth, his ability to connect with people from all walks of life. They shared anecdotes that revealed the man behind the mitre, his love for soccer, his fondness for tango music, his simple pleasures. Archbishop Victor Manuel Fernandez, a close friend and confidant, recalled Pope Francis's unwavering commitment to social justice, saying, "He never lost sight of the poor, the marginalized, those who are often forgotten. They were always at the heart of his ministry." Cardinal Joseph Tobin of Newark, New Jersey, spoke of Pope Francis's ability to challenge and inspire, stating, "He shook things up, but he did it with love, with a pastor's heart. He called us to be a more merciful and compassionate church." These heartfelt tributes painted a vivid picture of a man who lived his life in service to others, a man who led by example, inspiring millions with his humility, his compassion, and his unwavering belief in the power of love. As the sun began its final descent, casting long shadows across the Vatican City, the weight of the impending loss settled over the Catholic world. In the quiet sanctity of his room at the Gemelli Hospital, Pope Francis, his strength waning but his spirit unwavering, received the final blessing. The sacrament, administered by a close confidant, held a profound significance, marking the completion of a life dedicated to faith and service. In those hushed moments, prayers whispered in Latin echoed the centuries-old traditions of the Church, offering solace and strength. Though his voice was weak, those present felt the weight of his faith, the unwavering belief that guided him throughout his life. The blessing, a final act of grace, transcended the confines of the hospital room, reaching out to the millions who mourned his passing. Outside, the soft glow of candles illuminated the faces of those gathered in St. Peter's Square, their prayers joining with those whispered at his bedside. The world held its breath, united in grief, yet finding solace in the enduring power of faith. The final blessing, a testament to the enduring power of faith, marked the peaceful transition from one life to the next, a final act of surrender and acceptance in the face of the inevitable. The news reverberated around the world, carried on the whispers of the wind, the solemn tolling of church bells, the quiet tears of countless mourners. Pope Francis, the people's pope, had breathed his last. The world went quiet, united in grief, reflecting on a life that touched billions. From the smallest villages to the grandest cathedrals, candles flickered, symbols of hope in the face of loss. World leaders, both religious and secular, paid tribute, their words echoing his messages of peace, compassion, and understanding. They spoke of a man who transcended borders, who challenged the powerful, who embraced the marginalized. But perhaps the most powerful tributes came from the countless individuals whose lives he had touched: the homeless, he had shared meals with the refugees, he had comforted the prisoners he had embraced. They mourned the loss of a true shepherd, a man who saw their humanity, who offered them dignity and hope. His legacy, woven into the fabric of countless lives, will continue to inspire generations to come. He challenged us to be better, to love more fiercely, to build bridges instead of walls. In the end, Pope Francis, the boy from Buenos Aires who rose to lead the Catholic Church, reminded us that true leadership lies not in power, but in service, not in judgment, but in compassion. As we say goodbye to Pope Francis, we remember him not just for his position, but for the profound impact he had on the world. He challenged us to live differently, to love more deeply, and to extend a hand to those in need. May Pope Francis rest in peace. His legacy will live on in the hearts of millions. He leaves behind a world forever changed by his humility, his compassion, and his unwavering belief in the power of love. Though he may be gone, the light of his teachings, his unwavering commitment to justice and mercy, will continue to illuminate the path toward a more just and compassionate world.